these type of lulls in their career. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio can help him revitalize some of his roles and revitalize his bullpen and get to back to dating younger women. Hey, what's going on? This is Raiderlance, and
IceyEyed Gnome.
First, we want to all wish you a happy, healthy, and safe 4th of July weekend. And when we're referring to safe, in this instance, we mean don't get drunk and have a fight with an ex-girlfriend who will call the cops on you. And if you can figure it out, we are doing a follow-up on the actor Johnathan Majors and his ongoing legal dispute. I shouldn't say legal dispute. His case that he caught involving his ex-girlfriend. But before we do that, let's do some housekeeping. Please like, share, subscribe. We need all the help you can get. Please subscribe. We really need your help. IG, how you been doing, man?
I'm good, man. I haven't been arrested. So that's a good start.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Okay, so I pulled up an article. It's from thedailymail.com. It's from June 27, 2023. And it does a little bit of a recap of the story. If you don't know, Johnathan Majors, bright star of Hollywood. He's been in Creed 3. You know him as Kang the Destroyer, or Kang the Conqueror, right?
Well, yeah, he's got several titles, but yeah, that's one of them.
Okay. I apologize. He was in that in Quantumanium. So, you know, he's crushing it in Hollywood. A couple months ago, he got in a little bit of a spat with his girlfriend, and she called the police, and they arrested him for a bunch of misdemeanors. I think there was 3 in total. So it's been an ongoing he said, she said, witnesses said, camera said situation. And now the evidence is kind of coming to light. So we wanted to do a follow-up just to do justice to this story and, you know, point out all the evidence. All right. So we're going to do a little bit of recap in this first article of thedailymail.com. The title says, actor Johnathan Majors' lawyer says he is the victim in the domestic violence case, and N.Y.P.D. says that they have reasonable cause to arrest his ex-girlfriend. So this is a churn of events. Okay, so do a little bit of flashback. Again, this was a domestic violence complaint from the girlfriend against Mr. Majors. Mr. Majors is 33, and his ex-partner was Grace Gabbari. N.Y.P.D. was called. I believe it was in the Manhattan area, somewhere around 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning. At that time, Mr. Majors was arrested on March 25th on domestic violence allegations and later charged with several counts of assault and harassment. Again, only misdemeanors. Mr. Majors' ex-girlfriend Gabbari told officers that she was assaulted and was taken to the hospital with minor injuries to her head and neck. Now, a new N.Y.P.D. domestic incident report and sworn affidavit seen by the Insider claims that Majors was scratched and slapped by Miss Gabbari, who was drunk and hysterical. And this was filed on June 21st. Again, this is hearsay. This is from an insider. We don't have copies of that article. So, picture of Mr. Majors. We got a reminder and picture of Miss Gabbari. And a little bit further down, N.Y.P.D. confirms that there's been no additional arrests at this time. And so Priya Chaudhry, which is the defense attorney for Mr. Majors, is coming out, of course, claiming her client is the victim. Therefore, he's innocent. And that was it. We, again, have a reminder of the picture of 2:33 a.m. where Ms. Gabbari was clubbing that night. Again, another picture from her clubbing at that night. All right, back to the news article. Mr. Majors wore a brown suit jacket and removed his sunglasses during the short proceedings as Judge Rachel S. Pauley set his trial date for August 3rd. And he was accompanied by girlfriend Meagan Good. We'll get back to that. Okay, and then the rest of this article is just a reminder of who Mr. Majors is. All right, IG, what do you think?
I mean, I think that the photographic evidence of Miss Gabbari going to the club afterwards, I think there's a picture of her reaching across the table to a DJ. And then there's the photo of her hanging out with what looks to be just some acquaintances, possibly near like maybe a restroom or something. I'm not sure what that scene was, but those two timestamps are well after the alleged assault took place. She seems to be in good spirits and having a good time. So that's pretty damning evidence to her original story of alleged abuse. When I say that it's damning to her case, what I mean is that she had to attend the hospital because of the injury sustained or some of the trauma that she sustained during this alleged abuse. However, she was able to continue clubbing. So
Right.
that kind of, yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean by damning.
Yeah, wasn't significant injuries. Another thing that we had pictures in our last episode, but this article only mentions them in text. She, referring to Miss Gabbari, calls herself the aggressor and says she hopes that Ant-Man and the Wasp and Creed 3 actor will not get prosecuted. The girlfriend wrote, and I quote, "Please let me know when you got this. They assured me you won't be charged. They said they had arrested you as protocol when they saw the injuries on me and they knew we had a fight. I'm so angry they did that. I'm sorry you're in this position. We'll make sure nothing happens about this. I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone. I only just got out of the hospital. Just call me when you're out." End quote. So we had those text messages in pictures of them from a previous article and the last one. So yeah, this domestic violence of where Mr. Majors was just this vicious, savage aggressor is really falling apart. Okay, let me go to our next article. And this one is from the New York Times. Title is New York PD has evidence to arrest woman, said Johnathan Majors hit her. All right, so we have basically another article supporting this, but it gives a little bit more details of what has come out. The article states, the New York Police Department has determined that a woman who accused the actor Johnathan Majors of assault attacked Mr. Majors herself and believe that there is enough evidence to support her arrest, according to 3 people with knowledge of this matter. Grace Gabbari told the police that Mr. Majors had assaulted her during a taxi ride to his home in Manhattan. Ms. Gabbari, who had been in a relationship with Mr. Majors for several years, said he slapped her face, put his hands on her neck, and violently grabbed her hand, according to court records. Okay, but now, 2 months later, the prosecutors filed an updated account of the incident in which Ms. Gabbari no longer accuses Mr. Majors of having grabbed her neck, but said that he had pushed her into the vehicle. That's a big difference. Back to the article. She maintained that he had slapped her in the face and said that Mr. Majors had grabbed only her middle finger, not her full hand. All right. And the rest of the article, again, is Mr. Majors' defense attorney defending her client, as she should, saying that this is all, and I'm summarizing, this is essentially blown out of proportion or fabricated, and that Mr. Majors was actually the victim in this situation. Okay, one last key important point. Last week, the police issued what is known as an I-card for Miss Gabbari. The I-card, which appears in the department database, meaning the N.Y.P.D, is different from an arrest, which is typically signed by a judge. But the I-card alerts officers that there is probable cause to arrest Miss Gabbari. IG, what are you thinking?
I think that if they had enough evidence, obviously they would have issued an arrest warrant, but it does raise suspicions about her statements and then the evidence that they do have. So the I-card is not something that I would be overly excited for. It doesn't really do anything for his case per se, but it definitely raises questions about the case. So hopefully that gives some, pardon the pun here, some credence to his story.
Yeah, we have to remember the context of this case, right? So the context is you had a he said, she said of domestic violence. When you have 2 people saying things, who do you believe? Well, it seems that our legal system tends to believe the females, and I think that's appropriate based on looking in context and history of the genders. But that's not the situation we have anymore. We have a third-party eyewitness, which would be the taxi driver. We have what probably, it sounded like, video footage of either from the taxi driver or something else. We have a statement from Miss Gabbari, that's now been updated and changed doesn't make her look very well. Then you have text messages from her, which are verifiable, came from her to her, alleged assailant, where she's assuming all the blame. So, in my opinion, perspective, this case is kind of falling apart because the majority of this is going to hinge on the victim being willing to testify against the perpetrator, right? And now, if you can't trust the testimony of the victim because her previous statements are unraveling, good luck with this one, prosecutor. I don't know if it's worth the squeeze at this point in time. And then you throw in the iCard and the other stuff. It's just, this is a headache of a case that would normally go away if we didn't have a big name actor. All right, well, let's go into our final article. Well, it's not our final article. I apologize. Our third article. And this one's from Yahoo Entertainment. Johnathan Major's ex-girlfriend may face arrest and domestic violence case takes a new turn.
Yahoo, the always reliable source of information.
Well, this is very important for a number of reasons, and we will get into this. This is the most breaking and hitting news of this story, in my opinion, and we're gonna really delve into it. All right, so again, Mr. Majors, it gives a little bit of a backstory. Mr. Majors is 33. Mr. Gabbari was, I believe, 30. Here it says that Mr. Majors filed, or his attorney filed a cross complaint against Mr. Gabbari of slapping and scratching him when she was drunk and hysterical, end quote. In a new report on Thursday, the New York Times cited 3 sources who said the NYPD believe there is enough evidence to support Gabbari's arrest. Okay. But of course, at this time, there's no arrest. We again confirmed that his trial is set for August 3rd. And this article again mentions that he is there with his girlfriend, actress Meagan Good. So let's scroll down and see who this lovely lady is. All right, we'll play this little video. I mean, she's gorgeous. Especially when she puts on that hair that's long and straight. I mean, she's in Shazam. I didn't know that. So, okay. All right, Mr. Johnathan Majors. Well, let's see. Let me Google real quick who Miss Meagan Good is.
Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods.
Oh, it all right. I mean, she's gorgeous. She's an actress, well known. She's 41. No, John. Oh boy. Okay. Look, in my professional legal opinion, I can't think of a law on the books where Mr. Major's conduct is illegal. But him dating over 30-year-old women is a goddamn crime against nature. What the hell's going on here? He's dating a girl who's almost a decade older than him? No, you got nothing? You got no response? I think this warrants a response.
I don't think that matters. Clearly, he's had such good luck with women in their 30s, right? You know what I mean? Like,
what are you doing? What are you doing? A-list Hollywood actor? She's stunning. I mean, I get it. But a 30-year-old to a 41-year-old? And, okay, maybe she's recently divorced. So it looks like, do you remember the articles where it said Mr. Majors was dropped from a number of projects? He was dropped from MLB. He was dropped from a couple, I think, smaller movie projects. And he was dropped from the Army commercials.
Yeah, recruitment videos.
Well, apparently, him and Miss Meagan Good have just reprised their roles and Stella got a groove back because... For you guys who are younger, you may not know the old famous 90s movie where I think it was Queen Wakanda was in the original Stella Got Her Groove Back. So I guess this is the new version of it.
I have absolutely nothing to say. Ladies, it doesn't matter your age; you're all beautiful, unless you're under the age of 18, and then that's very illegal. At least he's not dating that young. You know what I mean? Like he's not
No,
Leonardo DiCaprio holding onto a
yeah,
17-year-old. You know what I'm saying? It's
no, she's gorgeous. I get it, sir. I just out of the tour buses of women who are flocking to your, penthouse suite, you know what? If it was just Miss Good, I'd understand. But he's 2 for 2 in my eyes. So okay, well,
no.
yeah,
It's a very
let's
skewed view.
metric. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm
And
taking a very myopic view to his, batting average. But still, man, I don't. Yeah, let's move forward before he sees this video and kicks my ass. All right, let's
you
move
should.
to our last. Let's move to our last article, and this one's a little bit troubling. I think it's not directly; it doesn't have legal significance. However, it makes me wonder if the news and the media just turned against Mr. Majors, or if this is good character evidence to the mindset of Mr. Majors and whether he's capable of being a violent individual. The Rolling Stone came out with an article on June 28th, and it's entitled Johnathan Majors' Extreme Abuse Allegedly Goes Back Nearly a Decade. So they kind of did a little bit of an expose looking into his history. I'm going to read quite a bit of it. I just want to point out every person the Rolling Stone spoke to requested anonymity. So this is all hearsay. This has no legal bearing. This is basically a gossip column because if you don't got the names, you don't got the receipts, this doesn't count.
Yeah, after you go through this article, I really want to touch on that because when I read this article, I picked it apart.
Yeah, I mean you can call BS on this one real easy. I don't know Rolling Stone's history of journalism, so I don't know if they're trustworthy. I know they're a bit sensational. I know when they had that Homeland terrorist who blew up I think it was the Boston Marathon. So and they did a feature on him. My point being is the Rolling Stone doesn't have the best ethics or judgment, in my opinion. So I'm going to very critically look at this article, but I think it deserves merit because right now in the news feed, if you just Google Johnathan Majors, you're going to hear about this article, not about all the stuff undermining his court case. You got to scroll down a little bit for that. All right. So let me read. During the 3-month investigation, Rolling Stone spoke with more than 40 people who have known Mr. Majors during his time in graduate school, his Hollywood career, and his romantic relationships. Many describe Mr. Majors as being a complicated, unpredictable, and sometimes violent man who can switch from charming to cold in a flash. I mean, he's a goddamn actor. I can see that. All right. Parentheses. All of the sources from this article requested anonymity, citing fear of career repercussions and personal retribution from Majors. Some claim they were prohibited from speaking. Quote, my only response can be that I am silenced by an NDA he had me sign, end quote, says one person who worked with Mr. Majors, in parentheses. All right. Their stories suggest a pattern of alleged physical, mental, and emotional abuse that dates back decades to Majors' time at Yale David Geffen School of Drama, where he was involved in physical altercations and continued to the sets of his movies and TV shows where production members raised concerns over his treatment of the crew. All right, Mr. Majors, I'm going to start summing up. Mr. Majors basically vehemently denies all of these allegations and says it's just outright falsity. All right, return to the article. Most seriously, more than a dozen sources collectively claim to Rolling Stone that Majors allegedly abused 2 romantic partners, one physically, both of them emotionally. And I quote, it was pervasively known that he was a good actor and that he would terrorize the people that he dated. End quote, one of the sources said. Majors allegedly strangled one woman he was dating and was mentally and emotionally abusive with her. 9 of the sources claim. The second woman allegedly told friends that her relationship with Majors was, and I quote, emotionally torture, end quote. Those who were friends with the women or were present during the relationships with Majors independently corroborated details of the alleged abuse. Throughout the conversations with Rolling Stone, they described feeling alarmed by what they witnessed at the time or what they were told by the women. One thing I don't like that the Rolling Stone article does is they try to give weight behind their allegations by citing multiple unknown sources. Um, I know there's this journalistic integrity where if your source asks for anonymity, that you're supposed to give it to them, but to them go out there and say, oh, multiple people, 9 people, 7 people out of 40 people found this out. That's still not a quote. So I think there's some serious problems with this article. IG, what are you thinking?
Yeah, this is sloppy journalism at best, and it's as you said, they give no they give more authority to their statements by saying that there's 10 people or 2 people or whatever, and then they provide one quote, and that one quote can seem outrageous. Like, he made me sign an NDA. NDAs are a common practice in Hollywood. You can't even attend most after parties without signing an NDA in Hollywood, right?
Okay.
So NDAs are very, very common practice, and just because this person may have been in an event or a movie or something like that where he made me sign an NDA, it was a requirement to attend, right?
Yeah.
So one thing that I will say is that I dislike the fact that this is a very one-sided view of things, with only 3 statements really provided in this entire article. And those 3 statements are basically saying we can't say anything, or it was like an emotional, what did they say?
Yeah.
Emotionally traumatizing or whatever.
Torture.
Yeah. Emotional torture. Right. And someone may feel that way about an ex. I can name 3 or 4 exes, where I felt like
I'm currently in it.
Oh, you are? Okay. I'm good.
I'm referring to my kids, by the way.
Oh, that's weird. But yeah, so I don't like the fact that this is a very one-sided article. It's very much slighted against Johnathan Majors with providing no actual proof. And just because Rolling Stones has their name behind it, it's getting a lot of push and media attention. And that is a disservice to anyone who reads it and believes it.
Let me go back to the article and read the work portion of it, because we just focused on the relationship portion of Mr. Majors. Okay, so back to the article. Mr. Majors was aggressive at work as well, according to the sources. Most recently, on the set of an upcoming film, Magazine Dreams, 2 production members claimed that 33-year-old actor pushed one person while on set and physically intimidated another while screaming at them, lending to a complaint to the producers. The sources say executive producers warned them to give Mr. Majors his space. Now, is this plausible? Absolutely. We have evidence where Christian Bale acted like this. We get reports of all these actors being psychos on set. We had all the allegations that were very credible against Ellen. Yeah, a Hollywood elite being a spoiled brat, and then this guy is, on a lot of Mexican supplements and being a little testy. Yeah, totally believable. When you produce an article like this, the light that you're trying to shine on Mr. Majors to make him look guilty, like he's some savage who's just bullying people around. I mean, this is unfair when it's based in hearsay and there's no proof. So I'm not a fan of it. If they were to write this article when he's not hot news for a domestic violence case, bring it on. I think he should get more publicity. But right now, it's going to negatively affect his court case. I think it's garbage.
Yeah, no, this article should not have been written, period. And it's the consistent nature of articles like this and others that create so much tension. And I'm not an attorney, and maybe you can shed some light on this, but an article like this would open up the door for Rolling Stones to receive a lawsuit from Mr. Majors, because it is very much damning. Because people will believe it, read it and believe it, because it has their name across the marquee.
Was it stupid? I agree with you. They opened up a higher probability of this type of suit coming down. I just think that they are going to bias his current court case just for clicks. I think Legally, that's a great question. I think morally, these guys are a bunch of dicks, right? It, you know, if he was caught on camera thumping this poor lady, then yeah, throw on the heat on him. But in the situation, it sounds like this was a spat. And it sounds like, it got physical. I'm not going to judge one way or another. Not my relationship, not my woman, not my problem. But the harm that this man is enduring, whether he's an asshole or not, that's for the studios to determine whether they should hire this guy. But to drag him through the mud like this, while I'm scrolling here, I think it was in the UK, I saw an article of Hunter Biden driving 172 miles in his Porsche while smoking crack. Focus on those kind of assholes.
Again, to like kind of step back and talk about the case and the allegations that were made against Johnathan Majors. If he did cause physical harm, if he did commit physical violence against a woman, that's not okay. That should never happen.
Absolutely.
And I think that's exactly what I said in the first video that we did covering the story. But the evidence tends to lean more so now towards proving his side of the story, saying that she became physically violent, and all the photographic evidence now that we have of her still clubbing hours after the fact. And then, the text messages that she sent and that kind of stuff, all of that evidence is starting to pile up. And so as the favor tends to shift towards Johnathan Majors in this case, as far as the allegations that were made against him and then his statements about what really happened, right. As the favor starts to shift towards his direction, all the news and the media attention is shifting the complete opposite direction.
Yeah.
And it's just, this is a perfect article, perfect example rather of what's happening.
I don't know what's going on here, but we're going to get some answers on August 2nd. Again, these are misdemeanors. I would be flabbergasted if this man saw any time. I'm thinking of fine and community service. I think Miss Gabbari should be absolutely charged with the crime, but our society just doesn't have the guts to do that. So we'll see how it goes. We'll keep you posted. We just wanted to bring this to you over this holiday weekend. Please be safe. Enjoy yourselves. Any final words, IG?
Yeah, I would like to make a statement in saying that, there's been so much damage done to his career and his reputation at this point. And as far as Hollywood actors are concerned, there are very few Hollywood actors that you can name that have very successful careers that are very memorable. You can say like Denzel Washington or, you can pull out names out of a hat like that. Right. But for a lot of the younger actors, and especially people like Johnathan Majors, it was kind of like strike while the iron's hot. So he got Quantumania. He did, Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania. He was in Creed 3, very successful roles. Both movies were box office hits. His career was at peak performance, and he started to get several more offers, and then slowly has started to kind of lose most, if not all. We're not sure yet about a couple of those roles, but he's lost a lot of different offers and a lot of opportunities to continue his career. So I would really hate to see this man's career destroyed if these allegations turn out to be completely untrue, if the trial's found that, if he's found guilty in the trial and that kind of stuff or whatever, that's one thing. But if these allegations are false and this man's career is destroyed, it's going to be very upsetting, obviously, to him and to anyone he's has as a fan base, right?
Yeah, I think I may have a solution. Maybe he can get mentoring from some type of actor who also went through these type of lulls in their career. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio can help him revitalize some of his roles and revitalize his bullpen and get back to dating younger women. All right, guys, be safe out there. If you are willing to listen, we are willing to talk. Catch you later. Bye.